Only the howl of the wind is heard in the darkness. You are standing in the middle of the forest. You are cold, and you are alone. The truth no one wants to hear is this: nature is not your mother. Nature is a massive grinder that separates the prepared from the statistics. Zero protocol begins. Focus. Most people see the forest as an escape route or a place to spend a pleasant weekend. This is a serious mistake. The forest, if you don't know its rules, is a green cemetery. I won't explain this to you with romance like other channels do. I'll explain it with mathematics. Every year, search and rescue teams recover lifeless bodies from wilderness areas. Most of these deaths are not caused by predators, not snake bites, not poisonous plants. Now imagine this. You are in the forest with wet clothes, in a cool environment, under moderate wind. In this situation, your core body temperature can drop to dangerous levels within hours. This is not a camping trip gone wrong. This is a verdict issued by the laws of physics about you. The forest has two different worlds, above the tree line and below the tree line. Each has different physical rules, different threats, and different protocols. Above the tree line, Alpine Zone, open ridge lines, tundra, high altitude. This is exposed terrain. There is no windbreak to protect you. There is nowhere to hide. There is only you and the atmosphere. Here, physics is ruthless. Convection. Wind here doesn't just make you feel cold. It continuously strips away the microscopic layer of warm air surrounding your body. When this layer is gone, heat loss increases exponentially. In moderate wind, even with the same clothing, the body loses heat several times faster than in still air. This is not felt temperature. This is real heat loss. This is the difference between life and death. Shelter is possible here, but only if you know the correct protocols. Surface temperature may be a few degrees, but half a meter below the ground, the soil is often warmer. Soil is more stable than air. That's why you go down, not up. This is why snow shelters work, because snow is mostly trapped air, and air is an excellent insulator. But there is a hidden enemy here: altitude. At high elevation, oxygen decreases. The brain receives less oxygen. Judgment deteriorates. Now let me give you a real scenario. You are at 3,200 meters. Wind speed is 40 kilometers per hour. Air temperature is -5 degrees Celsius. But with wind chill, it feels like -15 degrees Celsius. The sun has set. In 1 hour, it will be -20 degrees Celsius. What will you do? If I tell you to find a flat area on a snowy slope, pitch a tent, and get inside, do you know the result? You'll be found frozen in the morning. The correct decision is this: snow excavation. This is the real protocol. First, read the terrain. Find the wind direction. Wind patterns are visible on snow. Snow ripples show direction. Never build a shelter facing the wind. Build on the leeward side. Snow must be at least 1 meter deep. Test it. Probe with your trekking pole. If you can't find the bottom, it's sufficient. Now start digging, not horizontally, downward. An L-shaped design, narrow entrance, wide interior. Why? Cold air is heavy. A narrow entrance prevents it from entering. Warm air is light. It rises and stays inside. Roof thickness must be at least 30 centimeters. Thinner than that, it can collapse. It won't support the load. Inside, you won't lie flat. You will sleep sitting or semi-reclined, because warm air collects at the ceiling, and you need to be higher. Create a ventilation hole, small, fist-sized, at the ceiling. Oxygen must enter here. Carbon dioxide must exit. Otherwise, waking up in the morning may be impossible. The entrance should be tunnel-shaped, about 2 meters long. Wind must not enter directly. The tunnel breaks the wind. Add ground insulation inside. Pine branches. Your backpack. Your sleeping bag must not touch the snow directly. Snow is cold. Not -5 degrees Celsius. -10 degrees Celsius. The ground is always colder than the air. This shelter can protect you even at -30 degrees Celsius. But know this, you cannot light a fire inside. Oxygen will be depleted. The snow will melt. The shelter will collapse. Your body heat is your only energy source. Protect your calories. Field studies show that most temporary shelters built in alpine regions fail due to incorrect site selection. Below the tree line, forest zone. Here, the game completely changes. The first threat is above you. Dead branches, suspended logs. Rescue and injury records show that falling branches cause far more injuries than wildlife encounters. Before setting camp, look up. If you can't see the sky between the branches, move. These aren't called widow makers for nothing. The forest floor is damp, always. Even without rain, humidity is high. The human body produces significant moisture just by breathing. In a closed shelter, this moisture condenses on the coldest surface. Most often, that surface is your sleeping bag. Wet insulation is almost useless. A shelter built to protect you can turn into a hypothermia chamber because of your own breath. The solution is simple: ventilation. A shelter is not a coffin. It must breathe. The forest is different. Materials are abundant, but so are the threats. Here's a real scenario. It's 6 p.m. Darkness will arrive in 2 hours. You're in the middle of the forest. Light rain is falling. The ground is wet. No wind. Temperature is 8 degrees Celsius. It will drop to 3 degrees Celsius at night. You need to build shelter. First, choose the location. Spend 30 minutes. Do not rush. A bad location ruins the entire night. Look for this: a slight slope, a drainage path, between large trees, but not under them. Look up. Any rotten branches? If yes, move. Thick branches hanging overhead are a death zone. Find 2 large trees, 2 to 3 meters apart. These are your main supports. Brace a thick branch between them. This is your ridge beam, about 1.5 meters high, not too low. If you can't sit inside, you've built a coffin. Now lean branches at a 45-degree angle from one side. Tent shape. Thick branches outside. Thin branches inside. Layer by layer. Each layer supports the next. The structure supports itself. Cover the outside with large leaves. If available, birch bark is ideal. Waterproof. If not, use pine branches. Thick layer, at least 20 centimeters. Prevents water infiltration. Lay ground insulation inside. Dry leaves, pine needles, moss. Minimum thickness, 15 centimeters. Press with your hand. Do not compress. It must remain soft. Air pockets retain heat. Keep the entrance narrow, just enough for you to pass through. Reduces heat loss. Adjust branches to cover the entrance when you enter, but do not seal it completely. Air must flow. Inside, your body heat warms the shelter. Temperature will be 5 to 7 degrees higher than outside. This difference saves lives. But be careful. If it gets too warm, sweating begins. Sweat means moisture. Moisture means death. Here too, shelter is possible, if you follow the steps I give you. 1. Site selection. Never build in a depression. Cold air is heavy. It settles low. On the same night, in the same forest, there can be a serious temperature difference between a valley floor and a slight slope. Correct location is more important than the structure itself. 2. Geometry: build with 45-degree angles. Water runs off, doesn't seep in. Height creates airflow. Airflow kills moisture. 3. Insulation layers. Outer layer, water-shedding armor. Middle layer, thick, dry insulation. Bottom layer, separation from the ground. Most people make their mistake here. They forget that soil conducts heat dozens of times better than air. Lie on the ground, and you surrender your heat to it. 4. Thermal signature. Modern search and rescue teams use infrared systems. Synthetic shelters appear bright. Natural materials blend in. Camouflage is not color, it is heat dispersion. 5. Psychological protocol. The forest changes at night. Sounds grow louder. Shadows take shape. This is natural. But let me remind you of this. Fear burns energy. Energy is heat. Panic cools you faster. To prevent this, control your breathing. Discipline your mind. Remember, chaos is not outside. Chaos is in an uncontrolled brain. Up to now, you have stopped convection, cut conduction, fought moisture. Now the question is, how will you produce heat? Fire. Fire protocol. The chemistry of combustion. Everyone can light a fire. Fire is a chemical reaction. It requires 3 components: fuel, oxygen, ignition temperature. If one is missing, fire does not exist. This triangle is called the fire triangle. Most people start with thick branches. This is a major mistake. You always start small. Dry leaves, thin twigs, finger-thick sticks, then wrist-thick, then arm-thick. This is building a pyramid. You start from the foundation. Do not collect firewood from the ground. Soil is moisture. Take it from standing dead trees, from branches caught in trees. Strip the bark, because beneath it is drier. Now let's talk about fire architecture. Fire is a structure. Air must move through it. Without oxygen, combustion is slow and weak. There are 2 fundamental structures. First, place fine material in the center. Lean sticks around it like a tent. Air enters from below, exits upward. Heat rises. The fire feeds itself. Second, lay thick logs parallel. Place fine material between them. Layer upward. Air flows through horizontal channels. This burns longer, but ignition is harder and requires experience. Ignition is critical. If you have matches or a lighter, treat them as luxury. They may not exist. They may be wet. They may be empty. You need alternatives. A ferrocerium rod. This alloy produces sparks up to 3,000 degrees when scraped. Waterproof. Thousands of uses. But a spark is not fire. A spark is only the beginning. You need material to catch it. Tinder, dry grass, bird feathers, dry moss, cotton, cloth, Vaseline-soaked cotton. These catch the spark. Grow it. Turn it into flame. No tinder, no fire. The link is broken. Friction method. Primitive, but it works. 2 pieces of wood, one soft, one hard. Rapid friction. Heat builds. Wood dust ignites. An ember forms. Transfer to tinder. Blow. Flame. This can take hours. Hands bleed. Arms ache. But you're alive. Fire requires control. Uncontrolled fire is a weapon. It can harm you or the forest. Check wind direction. Do not build fire upwind. Smoke will blind and suffocate you. Build it downwind. Dig a fire pit, 30 centimeters deep. Fire stays at ground level, protected from wind, prevents spread. Line with stones. Stones store heat. They radiate warmth for hours. Even after the fire is out, carry them into your shelter. They become a heat source. Fire maintenance is constant. You cannot leave it. You must feed it. Not too much, not too little. Balanced. Check every hour. Add wood. Keeping a fire all night is difficult. If you sleep, it dies. You freeze. 2 options. First, Use a large log, 30 to 40 centimeters diameter, burns slowly, can last until morning, but ignition is extremely difficult, can take hours. Second, wake in shifts, every 2 hours, add wood, sleep again. Exhausting, but the fire lives, and so do you. Fire is dangerous, carbon monoxide, colorless, odorless, lethal. If you light a fire in an enclosed space, you will be poisoned. Ventilation is mandatory. Do not build fire inside the shelter. Build it outside. Carry heat inside with stones. Avoid smoke exposure. Fire extinction matters too. Put it out before leaving. Pour water. Cover with soil. It must be completely cold, cool enough to touch. Wind can reignite it hours later. You can start a forest fire. Plan before lighting fire. Gather fuel, at least 3 hours worth. Prepare ignition materials. Tinder, thin sticks, medium sticks, thick logs. Lay them out, then light. Do not rush. A rushed fire is a faulty fire. A faulty fire is death. You've learned shelter protocol. You've learned fire chemistry. Now you know. But knowing is not enough. You must practice. Go outside. Try it. Zero protocol. Stay ready. Stay alive.